A preliminary toxicology report by the Malaysian police identifies a chemical used in the killing of Kim Jong Nam, the half-brother of the DPRK leader Kim Jong Un. The report identifies this chemical as a highly toxic nerve agent, classified by the UN as a weapon of mass destruction. Let's get right to our correspondent, Ryan Meltzer, who joins us live from Kuala Lumpur with more details. Ryan, tell us more about this police report as well as the toxic chemical.
Yes, the police released this announcement just over an hour ago, saying that the preliminary results of facial and nasal swabs had returned a finding of VX nerve agent. Now, this was a chemical that was developed in the 1950s in Britain by the company ICI. It was initially hoped that it might be used in a pesticide of some sort, but it was found to be too toxic. The UN classifies it as a chemical weapon, actually as a weapon of mass destruction. Now, under the UN Convention on Chemical Weapons, countries that have signed this convention are only allowed to produce or stockpile a tiny amount of it, just 100 grams a year. But actually, major countries that do have stockpiles of this weapon, this agent, such as the US and Russia, are moving to eliminate and destroy their stockpiles. Russia is actually destroying its stockpile with the help of the US. Now, interestingly, the DPRK is one of a small handful, less than a handful of countries that is not a signatory to this convention. This is not an agent that any ordinary citizen would be able to get a hold of. Interestingly, too, while it is more highly toxic when it is inhaled, it is also potentially toxic if absorbed through the skin. Now, the reports have, of course, indicated that the two women that attacked the person we believe is Kim Jong Nam at the airport had sprayed this in his face and then applied a cloth to his face and then had walked away, as the police said, with their hands in front of them and gone and washed their hands in the bathroom at the airport. However, potentially they could have absorbed it through their skin. They haven't said categorically that they weren't wearing any hand protection, although the police said they were sure that the women knew that they were applying some kind of toxic agent due to the fact they held their hands out in front of them as they walked away from the victim and went to wash their hands. Although they may have been informed that the agent might have caused, dizziness or nausea or something else along those lines. We don't know at this stage. But clearly this is a chemical that certain states, a few states, have access to and develop, not something that would be in the hands of ordinary citizens by any means. And as I say, the DPRK is not a signatory to the convention that restricts the production and stockpiling of this particular agent.
Ryan, so what can we expect next in the investigation?
Well, we were actually told not to expect the post-mortem results until next week. Now, the police have said that this is a preliminary finding of their chemistry department. But what this does really underline is how difficult the case this is for Malaysia. The DPRK ambassador and government have basically said, why is it taking Malaysia so long to resolve this case? But clearly, if it's involving agents that, a pathologist in Malaysia would never possibly have run across in their entire career, it probably has to involve outside agencies from other countries to help identify this. And also in cases such as this, where there's a suspicion of something along the lines of espionage, where there's involvement of a foreign government that may not be willing to assist in any way, these types of investigations that we've seen in the past with certain other incidents, these could take years and years. And in fact, Malaysia's police chief has said just as much. He said it could take a year, it could take years. We're patient. We're going to wait to resolve this issue properly, this case properly. But unless the DPRK cooperates and hands over the 4 key suspects that Malaysia is looking for, I have to wonder whether the case will ever be truly resolved.